Any average person with a normal job can become a millionaire. You just need to understand the power of compound interest. Think of your money like a snowball. You start with an initial investment and keep adding to it regularly, pushing it up the hill little by little. At first it feels slow and takes effort, but as time goes on, the interest you earn starts to help. The climb doesn't feel as steep anymore because your returns begin adding to your investment. Eventually, you reach the point where your interest is growing faster than the money you're contributing. From that moment, time becomes your biggest advantage. The snowball starts rolling on its own, gathering momentum and growing larger with every turn. That's how compound interest works. It rewards patience, consistency, and time. What starts as small, steady growth eventually turns into something much bigger. And that's how ordinary people can build real wealth without taking big risks. This idea is simple, but most people never see it through. They understand the concept, but they lose patience during the early years. Compounding always looks unimpressive at first because the growth is small compared to the effort. You might invest month after month and barely see your balance move. It feels slow, and it's easy to believe it isn't working. But those small gains in the beginning are what make the big gains possible later. The early stage is where the foundation is built. Let's look at what this actually means in numbers. If you invest $500 a month with a 7% average annual return, after 10 years, you'll have about $86,000. It's progress, but it doesn't feel like much, because most of that is money you put in yourself. But if you stay invested for 20 years, that same monthly amount grows to around $260,000. After 30 years, it becomes more than $566,000. The biggest jump happens in the last decade, not the first two. That's the effect of compounding over time. The longer you leave your money to grow, the faster it multiplies. This is where most people lose out. They either stop investing, pull their money out too soon, or spend what they've built before the compounding takes off. As you invest, the interest you earn begins to generate its own interest. Your gains start producing more gains. That's when the hill doesn't feel as steep. You're still adding money, but now the growth is coming not just from your effort, but from your past effort working on your behalf. Each year, your money becomes more productive. Eventually, you reach the top of the hill, the point where the interest you earn moves faster than the money you contribute. That's the moment most investors never reach, but it's where wealth truly begins. At that stage, your investment starts growing on its own. You don't have to push as hard because the growth begins to accelerate naturally. With time, your snowball gets larger and starts rolling faster. It becomes self-sustaining. You continue contributing, but the real growth comes from the power of compounding itself. Every additional year multiplies your results more than the previous one. This process works because compound interest rewards time more than effort. It doesn't matter if your income is average or high. What matters is how early and how consistently you start. Someone who invests small amounts for decades will almost always end up with more than someone who invests large amounts for a short period. The earlier you begin, the more time your money has to work, and the more powerful the results become. The beauty of compound interest is that it's predictable. The formula is simple. Your money grows based on the amount you invest, the rate of return, and how long you leave it alone. The longer your money stays invested, the more exponential the results become. But here's what most people get wrong. Compounding doesn't look impressive in the beginning. The first few years are slow. The growth feels small. That's when most people lose patience and stop. But those early years are the foundation that makes the later years explosive. To see how it plays out, take a single $10,000 investment earning 7% annually. After 1 year, you'll have $10,700. Just $700 in growth. Not much. But leave it for 10 years, and it grows to almost $20,000. After 20 years, it becomes nearly $40,000. After 30 years, it reaches over $76,000. You never added another dollar, yet your original amount more than doubled twice. That's the power of time working silently in the background. Now imagine adding money regularly. Let's say you invest $500 a month for 30 years at the same 7% return. You'll end up with around $610,000. Double that contribution to $1,000 a month, and the total jumps to over $1.2 million. But if you wait just 5 extra years to start, the final number drops significantly. That's why financial experts always say time matters more than timing. Waiting to start costs you far more than starting small. Compound interest also works best when you leave your investments untouched. Every withdrawal or interruption slows the process down. When you take money out, you're not just removing cash, you're removing future growth. Each dollar you withdraw loses its ability to earn more for you. The longer your money stays invested, the more it multiplies, because each gain builds on the previous one. This is where many investors go wrong. They contribute for a few years, see moderate growth, and then pull the money out to use for something else. Later, they start again and wonder why they're not getting ahead. Compounding only works when you give it time to build on itself without interruption. You can't start and stop and expect exponential growth. Every time you pull back, you reset the curve. The psychology behind this is what makes compounding so powerful and yet so underused. Most people want quick results. They get frustrated when their balance doesn't grow fast enough. But compounding rewards those who can stay consistent through boredom. The investors who end up wealthy are usually not the ones chasing the highest returns. They're the ones who pick a strategy, stick to it, and let time do the heavy lifting. It's also worth understanding that compounding doesn't only apply to investing. It's a principle that exists everywhere, in skills, knowledge, and habits. The same rule applies. Consistent effort, multiplied by time, produces outsized results. But in finance, it's measurable. You can see it in the numbers. A few $100s invested every month can turn into hundreds of thousands over a lifetime. That's not luck. That's math. The real growth begins after years of consistency. In most cases, this turning point happens around 15 to 20 years after you start. That's when your investment returns begin to exceed what you're adding each year. From that point on, your portfolio grows faster than your effort. For example, if you're investing $10,000 a year and your returns start adding $15,000 or more, you've reached the compounding milestone. Your money is now doing the heavy lifting. Once you reach that stage, wealth builds faster than you expect. You don't need to change your plan or take more risk. You just keep going. Compounding accelerates naturally over time. It may feel slow at first, but it becomes powerful later. The key is consistency. Automate your investments, no matter how small, and treat them like bills you pay to your future self. Don't worry about short-term market swings. What matters is staying invested long enough for compounding to work. Missing even a few strong years can set you back significantly. Data shows that an investor who stayed fully invested in the S&P 500 from 2003 to 2023 earned about 9.7% annually. Missing just 10 of the best days cut that return nearly in half. Those days usually happen after market declines, when most people sell. That's how emotional decisions destroy compounding. The investors who hold on through uncertainty are the ones who reach financial independence. The earlier you start, the easier it gets. Starting in your 20s lets smaller contributions grow for decades, but even if you start later, consistency still pays off. Every year your money stays invested adds more to your future. Taxes, inflation, and market changes affect returns, but the principle doesn't change. The longer you let your money compound, the greater the gap becomes between those who stay invested and those who don't. Compound interest doesn't rely on luck or high income, just time and discipline. Becoming a millionaire isn't about earning more. It's about managing what you already earn effectively and letting time do its work. Compounding isn't fast, but it's reliable. If you stay consistent, your results will eventually surprise you. Your money grows faster the longer you leave it alone. At first, progress feels slow, but each year adds momentum. Every contribution and reinvested gain strengthens the base for future growth. Anyone with a steady job and regular savings can reach financial independence through this process. You don't have to start big. You just have to start early and stay consistent. Over time, your effort decreases and your returns take over. That's when your money starts working harder than you do. And that's how ordinary people build lasting wealth through compound interest.